Yeah, so as I said, we continue with tutorial sheet uh, 1 of Math 1120, and we start from here, question 10. So the question 10 has these questions. So we will try to answer most of what we can here. So let's start with question 1, which is the basic one, where we have 6 minus 5 root of 12 plus 4 root of 3. So what you must observe is it's telling you to simplify each of the following sides as far as possible. So when it comes to simplification, uh, if there's a root that you cannot simplify further on, meaning most of the other roots must look like that one. So what I mean is, like in our case here, we have root 3. This is the lowest we can go, like inside here to simplify it. We cannot simplify this further on. So now, meaning most of, or whatever we're going to do here has to go towards to root 3. So when we look at where we have 6 minus 5, we can write this part here 12 as, we can write that as 4 by 3, such that we're able to have that root 3 which we want, and this will be 4 root 3. Then this will be equal to 6 minus 5, then the root of 4, that is just going to be 2, then you have root 3 there, plus 4 root 3. Then this is going to be equal to 6. You can multiply that. There you have negative 10 root 3, then plus 4 root 3. Yeah, so we can add these two here. The negative 10 root 3 plus 4 root 3, and that gives us negative 6 root 3. So this will be negative 6 root 3. Okay, so if you want, you can even factor out the 6 and just write 6 plus 1. 6 open bracket 1 plus minus, that should be minus 1 minus root 3, like this. Then you'd have simplified this to its simplest form. Okay, so move on to the next part. So the next one has 4 root 72 minus 8 root 2 plus 2 root 18. So now we want to see where can we get those perfect squares at which we need. And after getting those perfect squares, we then know exactly what we are going to, how we're going to simplify that. So observe that here we have 4. We can write this 72. Can write this 72 as 36 by what? By 2. So write it by 36 by 2, like this. So this will be 36 multiplied by 2. Then minus 8 root what? Root 2 plus 2. Then the 18 can be written as a 9 by what? By 2. And this just simplifies to, this will be 4. You have there your root of 36, square root of 2, minus 8, square root of 2, then plus 2, square root of 9, square root of 2. And this here is just going to be equal to 4. Square root of 36, that's just going to be 6. And you have square root of 2 there, then minus 8, square root of 2, then you have plus 2, square root of 9 is going to give you 3, and you have root of 2 there, and this will simplify to, you multiply the 4 by the 6, 4 by 6 is just 24, and you have 24 root 2, then you have minus 8 root 2, then you have plus, so 2 multiplied by 3, that's going to give 6 root 2, and this simplifies to 24 root 2, that will be minus 8 root. Okay, so the minus 8 here, root 2, we can say, we can then subtract this and we just remain with negative 2 root 2. That's when we subtract negative 8 root 2 plus this 6 root 2, and you get that when you subtract that there, you just get 22, then root 2, like that. So this is how this simplifies to. Okay, we move on to the next question. Okay, so and the next one is just going to be, so you have your 3 root 32 there minus 2 root 18 like that plus 2 root 50 like that. And this is going to be, so how can we simplify this one further on? So you check again that you can be able to say 3, then this 32 can be written as 16 multiplied by 2, then minus 2 root 9 multiplied by 2, then you have plus 2 root 25 multiplied by 2, which gives you 50 there. Then here you have 3. So 3, the root 16 here, can find the square root of 16 is just going to be 4. Then root 2 comes there. Minus 2 square root of 9 gives me 3. Then as square root of 2 plus 2 square root of 25 gives me 5. Then I have square root of 2 there. Then I multiply that there, I get 12 square root of 2. Then I get minus 6 square root of 2. Okay, so minus 6 square root of 2. Then I have plus, okay, so then I have plus 10 square root of 2. And this here is going to give me, so I subtract that there and add the 10, I'll just get, so when I subtract, I get 6 root 2. Then I have plus 10 root 2, and this just gives me 16 root 2. And that's how I simplify this to its furthest. Okay, next we do D, which says 2 minus 3, then you have 108 plus 4, then you have 4 by root 48. So how can we simplify that one further? How can we simplify that one further? Okay, so if you can see here where you have 108, you can divide this 108. Okay, so you see here where we have this 108. So this 108, when we divide by 3, gives us 36, which is a perfect square. So meaning when you say 36 by 3 gives us 108 plus 4. Here I can divide also the 48 divided by 3 just gives me 16. Okay, having a bit of trouble with my board. So this gives me 16 by 3, which gives me 48. Then I have 2 there minus 3. So meaning the square root of 36, which is just going to be 6. Then I'll have root 3 there plus 4. Then you have square root of 16 is going to give you 4. Then you have root 3 there. And this here is going to be equal to 2. Then you have 3 by 6 gives you negative 18. Then root 3 here. Yes. Then you have plus 16 root 3. Then when I add these two, just gives me negative 2. Then I get 2 minus 2 root 3, which then also can be written as 2, 1 minus root 3 like this. And this here, you conclude that you've simplified that. Okay, going on to the next one. So the next one, you have 7 plus 3, then you have root 147 here. Then minus 4 root 75, then you have minus 27. So how are we going to get around these ones? So 147 here. So we have, okay, so, okay, so we have saying 147 there. So here, 147. So we can write the 7 there plus 3. Notice that when you divide by 3, just get 49. Then that means you can write 49 by 3. 49, which is a perfect square. Then you have 4. Then there as well, you can multiply 25 by 3. Then you have there multiplying 9 by what? By 3. And then this just, okay, this then is just going to give us 7 plus 3, the root of 49, that's going to be 7. Then root 3, like that, minus 4. That to be multiplied by 5, then root 3. Then you have this to be 3 multiplied by root 3. And you get 7. Multiply 3 by 7 gives you 21. So that'll be 21 root 3. Then 4 by 5 gives you 20. Then you have root 3 there. Then minus 3 root 3. So here you add, you see that this gives you negative 20. So if we have, this will be plus 2, 21 root 3. If I consider this part that has the negatives, that give me negative 23 root 3. And adding these two here, I just get 2. So that would be 7. It will be negative 2 root 3. And there is going to be my answer. Do the last one for this part, then move on to the last part for this class. So this one then gives us, so we have 4 root 2, then plus 2. There you have 243 minus 4, then you have root 108, then plus root 192. So how are we going to work around this one? So, okay. So observe that you can divide, you have 4 here, root 2 plus 2. You can divide this one by 3, and you get 81. So that will be 81 by 3. Then minus, this one we already did it, which was 49 by 3. Then the last part there, what are we dividing? So we have 192. When you divide that by 3, you'll get 64. So like that. And this here is going to give you 4. So you have 4 root 2. Then you have plus 2. So the square root of 81 is just 9. Then you have your root 3. Then you have minus 4. Square root of 49 is 7. Then root 3. Then that will be plus square root of 64 is 8. Then you have your root 3 there. Then we can simplify this to root of 2. When I multiply these two here, just get 18 root of 3. Then 4 by what? 7 gives me negative 20. Negative 28. 28 root 3. Then I have, that will be plus 8 root 3. So here I can add. So this will be 4 root 2. Then when I add these two here, this 28 and the 8 there, I just get negative 20. Then negative 20 plus 18 there, that's going to give me negative 2 root 3. And this is what I get here. And of course, I can factor out 2. Then when I factor out a 2 here, I remain with 2 there, root 2, and that will be minus root 3. Okay, so this is going to be your answer. So this is all for this part of the questions. I don't know if there are any questions. You have any questions?
No questions.
Okay, so moving on to the next one. So this next question is here says solve each of the following on solve each of the following quadratic equation. Give your solution in the form a plus bi, where a and bi are real numbers. So let's jump right into it. So you have x squared plus 4x like that plus 5, and this here is equal to 0. So now they're telling us to solve and give our equation, our answer in that form there. So how are we going to do this here? So there are a lot of ways in which you can solve a quadratic equation. Uh, is by factorizing. You can use the formula, so of which we know that the formula is going to be x equal to negative, that's b plus minus root over, that's what, 4ac. Am I right? No, that's 4b squared. That's supposed to be b squared. B squared minus 4ac over 2a. So you can use this, or you can use where you find your factor, you find your product and all, or if not that, you're going to complete the square on this. So for the first one, let's use this formula. Then, of course, we can use other methods, which will require me to just kind of explain a bit on them. So, okay. So you identify that the general form of the quadratic equation is a squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. So those values that are there, your a, b, your c, we can get them from there. So in our case here, our a is going to be 1, our b is just equal to 4, and our c is equal to 5. So I can replace these in my equation, and I have x going to be equal to, so my b, that would be negative 4 plus minus, then b squared. So when I square 4 squared, is going to give me 16. Then I have minus here 4, my a is 1 and my c is 5. So I have 1 and multiply by 5 there. Then divide this by 2a, which is also 1 there. A is 1. So this is going to give you just negative 4 plus minus. Then you have this here is going to give you 16. That will be 20. So you have 16 minus 20, since 4 by 5 gives you 20. And this here will give you negative 4. So you get that this value inside is going to be negative 4, then over 2 there. So how are we going to handle this? I can actually divide this 2, can divide into that there. And this gives me negative 2 plus minus. Then that, what is inside there, the negative 4, can be written as 4 multiplied by negative 1. And if I can write that way, meaning I can say 2 plus minus, then I can separate them to say root 4 negative 1 like that. Then this here is just going to simplify to, so you have that negative 2 plus minus, then you get root of square root of root of 4, that gives you 2. Then that negative root of negative 1 is just I. So meaning I can write this as I like that. And this then is just going to give me, so my answers are going to be 2 plus, so to be, I can get the positive 1 first, negative 2 plus 2i, or you have negative 2 minus 2i like this. Yeah, so these are going to be your values that you get for that first one. I don't know if there are any questions on how to approach this. Okay, so I guess there are no questions. Is there a question?
No questions. But
Okay. Uh-huh.
taking mathematics 1100.
Okay, okay. That's not a problem, since we kind of exchanged on the times, like we solve 1120, 1100. So meaning the next class, since we solve 1120, next class we're looking at 1100. So questions are kind of just similar. Just need to get the concept and learn how to solve all of them. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and kind of explain how you do something called completing the square, which you look at when you start looking at quadratic equations. So generally, I'll just pick out, okay, let me use the same question which follows, which is x squared minus 6x plus 10 like this equal to 0. So with completing the square, what you do is, first of all, you have to factor out the coefficient that your ax has. So our ax has a coefficient of 1. So in short, it's already factored out like this. Then after that, now you want to group this in such a form where you say you get your x. So this x comes from here. Just get x, then you leave out the square. Then this part here, the coefficient of x, which is -6, you must half this. So by half, I mean divide this by 2. So you divide this by 2, you get -3, like that. And then you close, and then you bring the square, like that. So, and then you say minus, then this same value which we got, the half here, which is the -3, you will square the -3 like this. Then you say plus 10 like that, and this is equal to 0. And you see you're going to have x minus 3 squared minus, so when you square this here, you just get 9 plus 10, and this is going to be equal to 0. And you have x minus 3 squared. This here gives you +1, so it'll be +1 equal to 0. And then you say x minus 3 squared is equal to, the 1 goes to the other side, you get -1. Introduce the square root on both sides. So you introduce the square root there, where you have x minus 3 squared, like this. And you introduce it the other side, where there's -1. This cancels with that. So you say plus minus. Then you have x minus 3 is going to be equal to plus minus. So this being -1, I can write it as what? Root of, I can write it as I. Then I can say x, I can take the 3 the other side, I have 3 plus minus I, like this. And of course, this is just going to be, your values, of course, just be 3 equal to, you have 3 plus I, or you have 3 minus what? I, to be your solution. So that's how you get that, by completing of the square. Is there any question on how to complete the square?
Why did we square the 3?
Okay, so why did we square the 3? Okay, so when you're completing the square, just allow me to erase this here and kind of explain it in general. So when you're completing the square, first of all, as we said, when you had factored out the coefficient of 1, so let's take an example where we have this one here, where we have 3x squared minus 4x plus 2 is equal to 0, where this has a coefficient here. So the first thing is you factor out this coefficient. So when you factor out, you have 3, and you have x squared there. Here you have a -4 divided by 3 x, and there you have a plus 2 divided by 3, and this equal to what? To 0. So that's the first key step. You have to factor out. So this one, since it was 1, so we didn't factor out. Then the steps of factorizing is, after you factor out this, so we have 3 here, I factored out there. What I must get is, I must get this, so I must get the x here, then this coefficient, the coefficient of x, which is in this case is -3 x, this is the -4/3. This is the coefficient of x. So what you do is you half this one. So which means you're multiplying this by half. And this is going to give you -4 over what? Over, of course, this can divide into this one here. Just gets 2. So this simplifies to 2/3. Okay, let me write that properly. So this simplifies to -2 over what? Over 3. So that's what you get there. But now, when you're working out this, so when you get that, you put it here, and you have that there, and you square. So your aim is, when you expand this part, you want to go back. You want to have a form where you have this here, only this here. That's what you want to get. But then, you have an extra term, kind of an extra term when you expand this, which you want to cancel out. That's why we're saying minus. Then you have to square this here. Okay, so when you square this like this will give you 4/9. So in this here, it's going to give you 4/9. Then you have your plus 2/3 like that. And that you would close this here equal to 0. And of course, work out this, and you would what? You would get your value. Now observe, if we were to expand this, let's expand. So let's expand the x -2/3 squared like this. So this means that I'm multiplying this by itself. So this is the same as x -2/3. Then I have x -2/3 like that. So I can multiply that there. So I have x squared, multiply x with the other one, that would give me that. Then the other one gives me 3x. Then that there gives me plus, then you have 4/9 like this. Then this here is going to be x squared. Here when you add, so you keep the base, which is 3 there, then you add the upper part, which is just going to give you 4, then you have x, then you have your plus 4/9. So what we're doing is we want to get this here. Like when we work out this, it should be the same. That's the reason. So you see what we squared, this is what we squared. So what we squared there, you see, if we bring this together, it will just subtract, and you get 1/4, and this here goes, gives you 0. This goes, and you remain with this part. And this part is this part, which is here. That's the reason why you always have to square that. I don't know if that is clear.
It's clear.
Okay, all right. So you do the same, and I am sure you'll be able to find the other answers. So we'll continue tomorrow with 1100 tutorial sheet. That's from question 17 going. We'll finish it tomorrow. Yeah, then we'll look at past paper questions in order to prepare for the quiz which is coming. If you don't have any further questions, we end here for today.
Okay, no problem.